Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Sprites of Life podcast. I'm Lucas.
And I'm Don. Sorry, I'm used to the middle person.
Yeah, no, you as you should be. But Chris could not be here today. He did not pass his democracy test.
Yeah, democracy officer, they got him.
They got him. They just pulled up and the Pelican just zooped him away. I mean, who am I to question the judgment of Super Earth's mighty democracy officers? Yes. So today, honestly, since you and I have both played a lot of Helldivers, and there's been a lot of changes since like one of our earlier episodes. Like I was looking back at it, like we've been at this for a little bit now. Like one of our earlier episodes was Helldivers 2.
Yeah,
Which is
I'm
pretty cool.
I'm loving it. I'm kind of back in it now. Some of the recent additions have that, and we have a whole new group of cadets from the Xbox front have joined us.
Yeah. Man, those people hate the Illuminate. Man,
They see glowy space aliens, and they're like, "We gotta get them." The
we
Halo
gotta get
instinct.
the bunch of nerds. They gotta go. They gotta go. Yeah, we've got new creatures in the game. We've got new factions to talk about. They all have some weird tie to biology, and I figured we could just have some fun and talk about them. But okay, we have definitely some science news. We definitely have some really important gaming news involving our favorite franchise. But for science news, I figured I'd find something a bit on theme with the wretched bugs we wish to kill. So specifically with ants, you understand. You've gotten a chance to know how ants reproduce, right?
And the classic sort of queen model, or some of
Yeah,
the weirder
queen
ones.
model. Yeah, precisely. Queen makes a bunch of females who can't reproduce. They become the workers and the soldiers. They produce a few males to go and reproduce, yada yada. But there has been a case of a specific ant in Europe. It's the first one that has found that it makes clones of another species, as in the female will produce not just its own group of males, but it'll also collect the spermatophores of other males and give birth to the eggs of those different species as clones.
Different species or different
Different species.
Oh wow, that's nuts.
Yeah, that is really weird. And as you're reading this paper, like a live science put it on, and they're just reading through it, and like the scientists are joking, like, "Huh, this is a little weird. Wouldn't this be funny if they were doing the ha ha ha?" And as it gets further, it's like, "Wait, it's doing that? Test it again. Test it again. Test it again." It's really interesting because again, they said it was like in the early stages they were joking about it, but it turns out that this one species. Let me see if I can find the common name of it again. Yeah, it's an Iberian harvester ant. So these colonies have like these different hybrids in them, and the queens, they're mating with males from a distantly related species. And in order to keep that colony with functioning, they are like for some reason they found that there are no colony structures that they could recognize. There was something wrong with like some of the local area. And when they did research, they were able to find that in the clutch of one of these nests, this queen was laying eggs of the males of a different species. And these males ultimately fathered the workers as well. I mean, it's very weird that they have this weird hybrid combination, but it's again, you're giving birth to another species male clone. Like that is
What is
so
the
far.
benefit for them for doing that? Are they do they use them as like drones, or do they?
From everything I've seen, it's the males solely exist to like. I mean, males are supposed to only exist to fertilize the queen, but for some reason, it seems that this one just decided to do it. I believe they explained it at. Oh, here it is. This is thought to be the result of selfish queen genes, where the DNA from the males of that species guarantees its survival across generation by raising large fertile queens rather than infertile workers, known as royal cheaters. So
Hmm.
it's just weird, complicated bug stuff. And I am kind of pumped. Like they're still trying to figure out, like, okay, how exactly does this like truly benefit them? But it's an absolutely wild thing to see. I'll see if I can get people like a link down below of like the actual on the chats and stuff because it is super weird. And I'm not the most equipped to talk about insect reproduction. So hopefully people can get a chance to read this and find more because it's weird. It's really weird. And I don't know what's going on. But as far as Pokemon news, we got 5 new megas. Yay!
We did get 5 new megas.
I did have a question for you. Does Chestnut's Mega make up for its entire evolutionary line?
I really like the mega. I will say
I do
that.
too. Um, I I like all of them. I think they're all really good. I like the jokes people are making about Greninja just being upside down.
Yeah, he's just on the ceiling chilling. I like actually I really like all three of their designs, to be perfectly honest. I like they went in with more of the witchy theme with um
Broomstick, magic
Delphox.
missiles.
There we go. That's the name. I've used that thing too, and I couldn't remember the name. Sorry, Delphox.
I'm excited. I want to see what the Mega Chestnut can do. Greninja getting another form is fine. He's cool with it. But then like everyone kind of figured that this would happen. The thing that surprised everybody was the DLC Raichus.
Yeah, I was
Like,
not expecting the DLC choose. We'll have to see how good they are.
I
Um,
mean, I literally think they're pulling a Mewtwo X, Mewtwo Y. One of them punches, the other one doesn't.
I think so. We'll have to see if they're how good they are, I guess I can say.
That's definitely
Base
a way
Raichu
to put it.
has good use, but it definitely needs I mean, maybe they'll do something crazy with them. Base Raichu's had some very good use. I mean, it won Worlds. Yeah. Um, Lightning Rod Focus Sash is a classic set. I can do some other cool stuff too with Lightning Rod. It'd be cool to which I do think actually with the Megas, it's kind of like Mega Manectric, but maybe with a better support toolkit originally. You
Hmm.
could be swapping in, stay unmega until you sponge a lightning attack, and then mega up with your potentially boosted offense.
I'm also thinking about how I want to see them do crazy, stupid numbers with this because don't get me wrong, fake out, nuzzle, thunderbolt, surf, weird combo, but I've seen it done. I want to see what people can do with like, I don't know what physical attacks it knows. At least one of the descriptions for X talk about um one of its thing for X talks about how it punches stuff. So I'm trying to think what are its physical moves that it could use.
Take a look real quick. Let me pull up Cerebi. I know it has people have used because it's I mean really it's only has 10 less attack than it does special attack, but the main thing is that being a special attacker, it is benefiting from the lightning rod boost. But the big ones, looking at it initially, like I said, Volt Tackle's an insanely powerful move.
Hmm.
It hits really hard. Um, don't believe the anime. Iron Tail is a really bad move. It gets faint, which is physical and really good, but not really that damaging. Scrolling through the physical list, not a lot actually. I mean, you got Brick Break, which is okay. You got Thunder Punch, which is okay. You get Play Rough. You get also Wild Charge, but why would you do that when you Volt Tackle? Knock Off. You can maybe do something. I don't think it's. I think it's the special one might be better, but we'll have to see. Maybe there's going to be a crazy kit or an update that would like the physical one. Both of them Mewtwo's kind of struggled because normal Mewtwo just wanted to have a life orb more so than the extra stats. But I could see Raichu benefiting. Most Megas get 100 base stat boost, and that would do a lot for Raichu. It's not a particularly well statted out
Yeah.
guy.
I was just thinking like with Volt Tackle, like I'll just give it Rockhead, because it's fun.
Rockhead Volt Tackle would actually be nuts. That would be pretty cool on Raichu.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Any ground type it runs into, we'll see it so it does not that broken. Just throw a Garchomp in front of it and it stops at its tracks. But like, I mean, Rockhead Volt Tackle would just be funny. It's just like I'm just gonna hit this button until I see the ground type. Otherwise, it's just gonna keep coming.
Depending on how they deck out champions, we might have Megas and Terras or something like that. So you could then just Terra Water, Terra Blast all your ground types or your grass type or
That would
Terra.
be pretty. Like, I want to see. I understand that more competitive minded players can like do the calcs in their heads, but like that's some crazy math to start doing. To start considering not just whether it megas or not, but like the damage it does, plus that, plus the chance of tearing into something. That's some kind of nuts. Um, how do you feel about it being locked behind DLC? Like, or specifically, you can only get the starters if you play the ranked of ZA.
I don't think playing the ranked doesn't require DLC.
Well, it does involve you having to pay online. So, like, you
Right,
do have
I
to get
don't think that
online.
is I mean, having to pay for online is not it's a little frustrating. I think most people do. Locking Pokemon behind ranked participation happened before. I think some of the Mega Stones were locked behind ranked participation back in the day, and I think Ruby and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire locked some Mega Stones away behind, like, playing in a GC or something, so it was actually, I think,
Mm,
pretty annoying. But, back then the Wi-Fi was free, so
yeah.
that is something, but I think, it's not crazy expensive for it, but it is a little frustrating and, accessibility. They've kind of tried to prioritize accessibility in more recent generations, I think, too, especially with event mons and things like that. So, kind of a bummer. Maybe in the future they'll, incorporate them somehow.
Yeah, the same with the DLC for the Raichus and stuff. Like, if they turn out to be, I mean, like, it's just Urshifu all over again. You
Yeah,
just have to
maybe they
pay money,
get single striking. Yeah, I mean, they've already locked Calyrex and Urshifu behind DLCs, and
and
those
people
are
still, yeah.
I would bet significant money that they will be better than the Raichus.
I would also argue that, like, at least in those cases, you just need the Pokemon, but this is an item, and items are much harder to trade and move around,
Yeah,
which just
that is
becomes an
true,
issue.
especially modern stuff. You can trade game to game, but I'm not sure. I think you can trade Mega Stones. I'm actually not 100% on that.
You can't move Megastones. Like, there's never been a time where we've been able to move Megastones to another game before. So I have no idea how that's going to work from ZA to Champions. It's like, am I going to need to get the Megastones in the game and then move
Yeah,
them
you
to
have to get
Champions?
500 champions Poké Dollars to then buy your
Yeah. Okay, kids. Nintendo gives you instructions on the Nintendo Switch 2. It's like, all right, kids. Step one, go to your parents' wallet. Step two, pull out $80 or their credit card. Either works. It's Pokemon trying to get more money. Nintendo's been mildly more greedy than usual, which is saying something. But I don't know. Here's hoping we can figure this out. They look cool. The designs look sick. I could see why people would just buy DLC to get these because these look awesome. I'm so happy. Um, I think that was all I had for Pokemon news. Ready to get into some Helldivers?
Yeah, let's jump in it.
Yeah. So
Let's dive in.
what are your thoughts on, like, the newest editions? Because I tried jumping in against the Illuminate, and I wasn't prepared for fighting intelligent enemies. I was used
So
to fighting
I
swarms.
do not enjoy the space whales. Also, do not call our enemies of liberty intelligent. They are driven purely by our hatred.
My apologies, Freedom Officer Don.
Anyway, I do not like the Leviathans in Illuminate. I think they're not too fun to deal with. I kind of enjoy the other stuff in there though. The Overseers are all right. They're not my favorite faction, but I like the new unit additions. When they first added the Illuminate, they felt a little, I guess, underdeveloped compared to some of the other factions. Like there just wasn't that much going on. But they remind me of Husks from Mass Effect, which I do enjoy.
Yeah, no, they do, especially with, like, I like how these miserable cowards, their entire main strat for their horde army is to kidnap honest tax-paying citizen and turn them into zombies. And I love the name that the developers came up for the zombies.
The Voteless,
The voteless is a killer. That's they took away their right to vote. Those monsters. How
these
dare they? They deserve so much better than the massive electric spear I'm going to shove into their face. Oh well. I thought that's brilliant. When I looked into their lore, I thought it was pretty interesting because the smarter you are in their wretched Illuminate society, the bigger and better tech they get. So when you beat up the really big ones, you're beating up a nerd. So it's perfectly reasonable.
yeah.
I mean, the original, in the
If they're
original
so
game, they
Lucas, if they're so smart, why do they hate democracy? Are they stupid?
I find the idea of an Illuminant that thinks offensive. No, it really is like But the original game, they were much more tech than body horror monsters and zombies. So it seems the centuries we kicked them out into the void, they seem to have gotten a little bit kicked off. The bugs, of course, they decided to, step up their game and they fly now. So thanks a lot for that.
Yeah, we had the Shriekers a while back, but recently we were given the Dragon Roach, which is kinda what it sounds like. He's not too roachy. I think he's a little heavy on the dragon, but I'm a fan. I like the design a lot. I think he's cool. Occasionally, the spawn rates can be a little substantial.
Too many of them.
Yeah, but and I think there's I'm not sure if they fixed it yet. There's a little bit of an issue with his acid fire. I mean, it's basically a flying bile titan, which is cool.
Yeah.
And I think there's like the hitbox on the fire, I think the last I heard was a little bugged. But I think they're cool. I like the design a lot. I do wish because shooting the wings damages the wings, but it doesn't really affect it from a mechanic standpoint, which I've seen them with wings that look like lace, which is kind of annoying. 'Cause it would be cool if you could ground them by shooting up their wings with like a lighter tier weapon and then deal with them that way.
That'd be pretty cool. You could make it a little bit harder to hit the wings and like reward players for like actually having the decency to aim and not die.
Yeah.
I will say, when you're getting the new connects from the Xbox in, the ODST crossover, peak decision.
I
Well
thought that
done.
was really fun. That was a great idea. It definitely kinda hyped up some people. My friend recently just got the game as well. He's an Xbox guy, and, he's grinding out the War Bond right now for the Halo.
Heck yeah. There was a post on the Helldivers page I follow who's getting really mad. Like, why are these level 10s over here on level 9? Why are these level 10s on like the ninth difficulty level? Get out of here. You're gonna get us all killed.
I saw someone was kidnapping young cadet divers, and then get it like, starting a mission at, like, level 3, and then changing their difficulty ranking to 10.
Oh no. You can't. That's so mean. Okay. So if we were going to do another crossover, I feel like the obvious ones are things like Starship Troopers, Warhammer 40K. What other franchises do you think we could like latch onto this thing?
I would really like Mass Effect, which we should do a Mass Effect episode, but
Oh,
I've always enjoyed the series, at least most of the series. Andromeda's not my favorite.
no,
I think there's
no.
a lot of stuff, some of the tech would translate well, like, they're future guns, but most of them aren't, like, they're not too future guns,
Hmm.
and they have sort of some unique identities, like the Avenger assault rifle, there's some other guns from it there, the Omni Blade melee tool would be a cool melee option as well.
Oh, it'd be sick.
N7 armor translates very well. There'd be some stuff like that. You could maybe do I don't know if Shepard has any poses, mostly if it's just Shepard quotes, but I think the weapons would translate well. There's enough of a crossover from a spacefaring thing. I think it fits well, and I also just really like Mass Effect. Long shot long shot crossover would be Borderlands.
Oh, that would be sick. I mean, we are like you could just reskin like one of the miniguns to be like something from the Vladoff Corporation or something. Like it
Yeah,
wouldn't be
that
too
would be
far.
I only worry if some of those guns are a little too I mean, obviously, not everything in Helldivers is too realistic. It's mostly accurate, especially the bugs. It's all works. But I do think, some of the Borderlands more iconic guns might be a little too cartoony or a little too over the top, and they would feel sort of it's like nerfed or neutered if you brought them into a slightly more realistic setting.
There would be something very funny about if you ran out of ammo for your gun and you threw it and it grew legs and ran and blew up. It wouldn't be serious, but it would be funny.
That would be very fun. Or even just something with the TDR mechanic where on reload you chuck it and it explodes with more, the more ammo's left in it.
Oh, that would be a fun. What do you call it? Like the patch that makes you run faster, or the one that makes you like go through rough terrain. What are those called? Attachments.
Oh, like
You know
the
what I'm talking
boosters? Boosters might be
about.
too crazy, or that would be the most insane match if everyone because boosters apply to your whole team.
Yeah, the boosters is hey, all of our guns are grenades now. Every time they run out of ammo, you throw them and they explode.
Yeah, that'd be very fun. It would get nuts.
Yeah, I'm not saying it would be balanced. I'm saying it would be funny. Um,
Yeah.
Before Chris got zooped away onto that pelican, he did mention that he thought his long shot would be Star Trek, and like I feel like Super Earth and Helldivers 2 is the antithesis of Star Trek. So it'd be very funny to be like up against a Star Trek esque enemy who's like, no, we believe in peace and science. Don't attack us. And we remind them that they don't pay taxes, so their opinions don't matter, and we'd slaughter them. It's a Star Trek is always the like, let's be peaceful and learn about science and stuff. And Helldivers 2 is, yeah, but like, let's not do that and use freedom and democracy across the galaxy, whether they like it or not. Again, long shots. I'm trying to think, like, for me, like, I already mentioned them, like Warhammer 40K, it's like a done deal. Give them the Imperial Guard look. They'll be fine. You don't need to make everyone a Space Marine. But you can just give them like the Imperial Guard, like las rifle, a couple of bits of armor. Overall, not too terribly difficult. But I do think that there is a chance for more crossovers in the future, and I'm hoping. I mean, they did Killzone, which did you ever play Killzone?
I have not actually.
Killzone was phenomenal. It was one of the it was one of the funner games my brother and me played when I was younger, and it really is like you could take the air of Eastern European bloc and put it in space, but you did. Congratulations. But as far as like the Illuminate go, like as a group, I gotta say, they indoctrination is a hell of a way to take over a system. Like I mean we mentioned it before, but like they are pretty scummy. They get a bunch of dudes to do the work. You order them around. It sounds like science fiction, but in nature, we do have animal species that behave a little bit like the Illuminate. I mean, not as diabolical and evil for taking away people's right to vote, but still. Um, okay, take a guess what group of animals has the horrible adaptations to just kind of do the sort of same thing the Illuminate do.
Wait, take over people or take over other animals or?
To just kind of make other animals do what they want against their will.
Well, we've got cordyceps always doing its thing. There's some other parasites. There's a worm that makes bugs drown themselves, and then there's the slave maker ant. Another.
That's the one I was thinking of. Oh, I will say people call it the kidnapping ant because they don't like using the main naming. So slave maker, whatever you want to call it, I'm a believer of it is it call it what it's doing. Like it's not doing anything nice. Um so for those who've never heard of these ants, the slave making ants, they are close to a dozen different species of these ants, and they all function relatively the same way. They'll target an ant nest. They'll usually have a scouting party go and check them out, raid the nest, grab broods, like the little ones before they hatch, and then they'll bring them home. It's to the extent some of these species do not even have like workers to take care of their young. They're literally tied to stealing ants from very specific colonies. I wonder if we have any here in the United States.
Yeah, some have specialized, some have a specialized species, some parasitize a few other species. It's kind of like, there's other forms of, like, brood parasitism where, they sneak animals sneak their eggs into another animal's nest. But yeah, they kind of totally rely on the other ants as well.
I mean, it's a little bit interesting because like with a cuckoo or like some of these birds that'll just lay their eggs in a nest and walk out, or like some of these other bugs that'll put themselves and pretend to be babies with the ants to eat them. I mean, it's actively doing it against their will because there were reports that some of these ones that have been captured will rebel and start killing the offsprings of their captors.
Yeah, so it sounds like some species of them exclusively when they attack another nest, they exclusively take larvae and pupa, but some actually will capture adult workers, which I
Feisty.
would assume are more
Yeah, they definitely put up
likely
a
to fight
fight.
back.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty interesting that like you would assume that being ants, they would have come up with some kind of chemical nonsense to like knock out the young or like force them to with pheromones. And there have been reports of that, but I love the idea that these ants will fight back, which gives me hope for our super Earth citizens. They'll be able to break from control and attack their Illuminate monster masters. Just Terrible what they've done to them. Um, specifically, there was one species of ant, the Formatia arcboldi, which was the one that decides to go after trapjaw ants and then kill them.
That's pretty nuts. Trapjaw ants are very. I think they have one of the fastest like moving body parts in the animal kingdom.
They sneak up on them, cut their heads off, then put the trapjaw ants around their burrow to tell the slave-making ants, "Hey, back off! Don't mess with me. Look what I did to him."
Wow, that's
I mean, what else do you got to say? It's like some Vlad the Impaler crap just right outside this ant's hill. Don't mess with them.
yeah. To know how serious trapjaw ants are, so they can record their speed. The fastest recorded jaw snap speed was 103 miles
Jesus.
per hour. The peak force exerted by that jaw snap was over 300 times the body weight of the ant.
Ouch. I'm trying to think of like what would that be? Like 300 times the body weight of an animal, just like being slammed down on someone. Like if you did it of equal size, not even a saltwater crocodile can pull that stunt off.
Yeah, I mean, so so let's say the average person weighs, we'll say 200 pounds times what 300.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's 60,000 pounds of force,
that is.
which is significantly heavier than anything close to like a crocodile. About 3,700 to 5,000 potentially.
Yeah, so
And that high end is more of an estimate. So yeah, we're looking at scaled up at just I mean, it would immediately bisect whatever it bites.
and yet these ants, like I would rather deal with this than the slave making ants. So I'm just gonna kill one of the I'm gonna kill a bunch of these and bring them over. So that on its own should tell you just how annoyed some of these ants are. We should probably start recruiting them. Um, one thing that's definitely new compared to the Helldivers 1 is the Fleshmob, which is just horrible. And I shoot it first. If I see it, I don't care what else is around me. It's got to go. I don't like seeing it. Although, would it count as one vote or five if it's got its minds back?
I don't know. Do you know what it really reminds me of, speaking of my Mass Effect crossover? I call abominations.
Oh yeah, from 3, right?
I think they're in 2.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about the
It's basically like a big lump of, no, that's the abominations are the explodey husks. I cannot think of the one. But there's like a thing, it's like an amalgamation of husks, and it has a big exploding, uh, gun it shoots. So it's basically a flesh
oh
mob with a gun, which the flesh mobs already are quite, unpleasant and annoyingly fast. They also have almost as much HP as a Bile Titan.
really? Ah,
Yes.
that's why I die. Okay, I keep targeting them, expecting them to go down like some of the bigger bots. Like, okay, so it's just a lot. Um, as far as nature goes, the most famous fusion of animals into one animal, I believe that's the anglerfish. That's the one everyone knows about now.
Yeah, I think the anglerfish is the classic one,
Yeah, and for
where the male is, much smaller.
yeah, and then he just latches onto the female and like infuses, and it basically becomes a floating sack of reproductive cells. And it's creepier because
Yeah, he's basically entirely absorbed. Also, he's very tiny, and the female anglerfish, who you would think might be big, is still also, like, maybe the size of a football.
and then it's multiple males attached on as well, so she has multiple bits of sperm to choose from. Um,
Yeah, when they were first discovered, they actually thought, it was a weird fish with tumors several times, and then the first few times they sampled the males, they actually thought they were, an entirely separate species.
man, that must have been one heck of a day when they realized what was going on. Um, weirdly enough, I decided to look into like what happens, can other species do the weird fusion dance? And it turns out injured comb jellies were seen doing it. Comb jellies, for those who don't know, they're not actually jellyfish. They're ctenophores. They're on their own weird side of things. They float around and they're weird just like jellies, but they found that when one was injured, they actually would fuse and combine with other comb jellies around them. And this fusion, like it got so in depth in this study that their literal nervous systems latched together. This isn't the same as like,
Wow.
yeah, like it's not like my arm fused with this guy's arm and now we're gonna hang out. Like literally intertwined their entire nervous system together, and it prolonged the injured jelly's life by about 3 weeks, which is still pretty cool. I mean, it's not like Oh no, there's plenty of animals usually in the ocean that like are just amalgamations of different species. I think the Portuguese man o' war, right?
Yes, it's a cyanophore. It's the tentacles and the bell and some other parts are actually different organisms working together.
And yet somehow they make it work. And the idea that they just fuse this blob together and make it run, it's horrifying, but nature's already done it. And it's not great one way or the other to see that it has to happen. But I'm kind of glad that I was looking at this species initially and like, oh great, what am I going to talk about with this thing? But I'm really happy that like as they created this new enemy for us to kill, they added things intentionally or otherwise that do have representation in nature. So now that we got the hard one out of the way, the terminid menace, which by the way, when I was making this script, I kept writing tyrannid from Warhammer because that's basically what they are. Like they just took the bugs from
Yeah.
Warhammer.
Yeah, I enjoy it though. I like the name is good, even it sounds like several other things. Um, I like the bug design a lot. I mean, I like I think the Illuminid are my least favorite, but I've started to get a greater appreciation for the bots as well.
Look, if the order says to kill bots, I'll kill bots. That's the job. But if the job involves, hey, I'm gonna go ahead and like kill bugs, I'm gonna do it with a passion or an arc rifle, whatever comes first. But as far as I wanted to kind of talk about two or three of the new terminids that have been added to the game fairly recently. The Shriekers, I know that's been a while since they've been added, but I don't know. I think like when you pull up a picture of them, the Shriekers just look like bug dragons, but they fly like bats.
Yes,
Eh, I don't know. Okay, have you ever heard of a giant Dobson fly?
I have well mainly because their larvae, the Hellgrammet or Hellgramite, are a very desirable fishing bait and something that's imitated with flies
You
actually.
don't say. What is that typically for freshwater fishing or
As it's like a stream dwelling, very large like larva type of guy.
yeah.
I'll send you a picture of them. They have some actually very serious jaws.
Oh yeah, no, the little ones. Hey, I killed those in Skyrim.
They do look like what are they called? Charis as well. But yeah, they're a very important food item for some freshwater fish in North America.
That's super cool. With the when the Dobson flies full size, the males have these massive mandibles. Some of them they curve into each other, and they're basically just used for picking on each other to find a mate. The females are the ones that have like smaller jaws, but they're more powerful and designed for like actually hurting and defending themselves. So, as far as the screechers go, they do their job, they're important, but they're not nearly as terrifying as what lives out in our ecosystem. This thing's wingspan is 7 inches. Multiply that thing, get it even higher up there. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be around it. It's just horrifying. Like, how would you feel as a hell diver if this thing, instead of swooping down and clawing at you, grabbed you with his pinchers and flew away?
I would take aim with my trusty recoilless rifle, miss, and then get killed during the 9-second reload animation.
That is the correct answer. Look, would it be broken? Absolutely. Is there fall damage? Hey, that would be the Borderland crossover. Hey, fall damage doesn't exist. Good luck.
Well, yeah, that would be a
The Helldivers just jumping off cliffs for like an hour. Um, the males, like I said, they get those massive jaws. It would be pretty cool to kind of see them get used, but it's more so the wings. I really think that they missed an opportunity to use large insect wings. If you're gonna make bugs, make bugs. If you're gonna make dragons. Which again, the dragon roach, cool name, but as you said, it's more dragon than roach. Breathes fire. Incidentally, the largest.
like acid fire, so I guess maybe that's a cop out.
Look, yeah, we can ring the bell, and we brought up the bombardier beetle again, but like using chemical brew to attack termites and ants are also known for generating it. And since these things take so much from ants, it's not the worst idea to just kind of add more ant to it.
May I suggest an explanation for the flying?
Please?
Okay, and also, so the wings are purely for maneuverability, I think, than the actual flying. I think that they're like kind of like the bombardier beetle. They have two separate gases, but there it's more like a liquid hydrogen, something like that type of deal. That they combine into a heavier mixture when they exit the body, but not hydrogen because it wouldn't liquefy. But I think they're mainly gaseous inside. They're big balloons.
Oh, and so the wings work more like the propellers on a zeppelin to kind of get it moving.
Yes.
Ah, I mean, these things are literally good for one thing and one thing only, and that is fuel. So the idea that there's even more flammable liquids inside, I'm good with that. I'm happy to be a part of it. But apparently, oh, I gotta find it. Where was it? Okay, hang on. So while I was looking up all the stuff for this episode, when you go onto like the wikis and stuff to look it up, they have a little quote. Okay, here it is on the dragon roaches. This oversized affront to the free skies everywhere circles its would-be prey, swooping down intermittently to pursue them with air combustible acid, a spineless tactic befitting an exoskeletal monstrosity. Sorry, that I just love that.
I mean, they are spineless by definition.
The last one we definitely have to talk about the Hive Lord. Oh my God. You need to read what the advice that they people give for dealing with a Hive Lord is hysterical.
I mean, to be fair, I think the Hive Lord's sort of meant to be more of an environmental hazard than because they have, I think it's like 150,000 health. A Bile Titan, I think, has like 8,000. A Hell Bomb does like 10,000 damage. I think they're more meant to be a cool, almost like environmental hazard, kind of like the Leviathans, but not as wildly annoying.
And I just this thing is not okay. Like the amount of damage it does. Oh, here's the quote. Helldiver, you face a Hive Lord. Liberty guide you. That's it. That's all they got. Although I will say on this one, they definitely just took a bobbit worm and made it bigger.
It does sort. It's definitely along that line a lot. The jaws, I think, are actually less upsetting than the ones on the Bobbit worm.
You know, I didn't think about it that way. But yeah, even with the glowing and like the teeth, yeah, I would agree with you that a bobbit worm's jaws are way more horrible. For those who did not know what a bobbit worm is, it is a species of segmented worm that is found in the ocean. They've been found as deep as like 300 feet, so they normally are found in coral reef systems. They got the name Bobbit Worm because of a serial killer who killed her men in various horrible ways that would get us kicked off every platform if we described them in detail. Let's just say this person's killings were so violent that they decided to name the most violent worm they could find after it. Does it have teeth? It does have, I don't know, would you call them mandibles? Like just giant, horrifying
Uh,
mandibles?
the the Hive Lord?
I mean, the Hive Lord does, I would call those mandibles, right?
Yeah, I would call them mandibles. Yeah. I don't know if they're. I would imagine they're not true teeth and more like a chitinous protrusion, like we see in insects. They typically don't have actual teeth. I think it would be scarier if they were actual teeth. I'd imagine that they're like outgrowths of chitin.
And yet, if you look at it, somehow the Hive Lord's mandible span to body ratio is less than the Bobbit worms. Yeah, no, this is like very clearly much it's wider than its body's width, like when it's fully opened up. Just not great. All around terrible. But I do think what's really cool, like, have you ever dealt with a Hive Lord? At least like tried to make it leave you alone?
I've seen one once or twice. I threw some stuff at it. I think it showed up like kind of. I don't know, the one there's the mission where if there's a mission style where you have to kind of drive like an oil tanker truck and it tries to smash you.
That's not great. Apparently, and this is something I was reading in the Helldiver guide, like you can shoot at it enough to kind of like distract it and like avoid hitting those barrel trucks. There was something that was seen with some fish species which will identify the bobbit worm's hole and shoot jets of water at it to distort it. So like the fish are fighting for freedom and liberty too. That's good.
Yes, I've seen. Yeah, Oh, what's the video? I think they're cardinal fish or something. I've seen the video where, yeah, it keeps trying to bury itself and they keep uncovering it by, spitting water. And the worm's clearly, like, very frustrated with the situation.
I'm just imagining this worm like swearing up a storm as these fish just continue to make its life that much harder for no apparent reason that the worm can understand. Ah, no. I mean,
Yeah.
okay. So those were kind of the newer stuff that brought up. I didn't want to talk about like the overlords and stuff like that from the Illuminate because they're just big burly dudes with sticks. But if you were to take the terminids at this point, what real life arthropod, aquatic, terrestrial, don't matter, what would you throw in? Like just like, oh, it's a terminid lobster, it's a terminid crab. What would you go for?
So I mean, people, if we got this, people would probably hate it. The Termit don't really have many long range units. Like we have the bile spitters and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
kind of. So I think pistol shrimp would be interesting. Sort of fire instead of the arcing mortar style would be interesting. I also think from a everything I'm thinking of that could go to be an inspiration would be wildly annoying. I thought about tiger beetles, and you'd just be getting speed blitzed.
That would be great. That would actually be very funny. Ah, I would love something semi-aquatic. So like if you go near water, just terminid crabs showing up and trying to drag you under.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, they'd be on like the higher levels of like I wouldn't want some level 1 area where the crabs are coming to kill the children. I
It would
specifically
be interesting if we had some, yeah, so some planet-specific enemies that were kinda more niche like that, that you're right, yeah, acted more almost like an environmental hazard.
yeah, I mean, okay. So if we're going environmental hazard, stick bug.
Ooh, I like that. A stick bug or, yeah, another very highly camouflaged insect.
Yeah, something that just tucks itself into the trees, and as you're trying to run through it, it just yoinks you and holds you, and you just kind of have to struggle to get away. I think that would be fun. Like having them based more on the planet they're on, I think that's really the next step. Like with the bots and with the Illuminate, they're very much invading organisms. They are coming here to do horrible things. But the bugs, they change. They adapt to their environments quickly. They build flying bile titans when they need to. I think it'd be really cool to see them adapt to each planet's topography a little bit differently. Ooh, do you like the Oblivion thing, or where it's just like one of them is just a rock, but it's not a rock? That'd be really.
Yeah,
I'd love.
sort of like big rock crab that's just sort of being a rock would be, I do like I like a good mimic type of enemy.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong. Like freedom will never die. So the number of creatures we can throw at the average Helldiver, we can throw whatever we want at them because they'll always make it through. That's how the Helldivers do. Um, I really do hope that they do some cool crossovers, though. I think that this is one of the few successes that Sony has been able to produce for its live services. I'm really, really hoping that they can kind of keep it going. Like this is a really cool game, and it's only $40. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, and, it's really I mean, there's a lot of DLC sorta, of the various war bonds. It's pretty easy to grind out super credits in the game. If you watch, look up some guides, it's, you can do it pretty quick, run some low level missions and just sorta grind them out. But even the base game has a ton of content, and they don't really lock behind any enemies or anything like that.
And from what I see, like most of like what would be considered high tier equipment is not DLC. Like you can do
Yeah, I mean, there's some I'm a big fan of the exploding crossbow, which is a DLC weapon, but a lot of the whole base game kit, and they've added quite a few free add-on stratagems and things as well, is really very, usable, even at the higher difficulties.
yeah. I mean, here's hoping, right? Well, hopefully the Pelican will come back and bring Chris once he's learned his lesson. I just honestly, I imagine Chris just being pulled aside, like he's just sitting in a chair next to like the button at the Microsoft store, like buy it now. That way he makes sure he can be part of the next one. But yeah, for
Yeah.
now, Don, thanks so much, brother. Appreciate you. Also, I'm gonna shout this out live. That's to be recorded. You got me addicted to the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. Thank you for that. It's a good book series. I'm very happy.
Yeah. A friend of mine recommended it to me, and I kind of binged through all of them pretty quickly, but I've really enjoyed it.
It's good, man. It's real good. I don't think we've ever shouted out a book before. Yeah, Dungeon Crawler Carl. Good book series. Loved it. Definitely not for kids, but it's great. Well, that's all the time. That's all the material we had, honestly. I hope you guys appreciate this little bit of a shorter episode. But hey, you guys want to get in contact with us, you know what to do. We're on the Discord. Come in the comments, and we're more than glad to talk with you guys more. Thank you guys so much for coming. Have a wonderful rest of your day or night. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, everybody.